Okay, earlier during our discussion regarding evidence-based learning, I told you that we would show you how to access resources. So Vanessa, if you could go up to the library screen, and please note that this is available under the quick links on the Concord University homepage. And if you go under databases, you'll see several options, but this highlighted portion is extremely important to our off-campus students. And that's, you click on that if you are going to try to access the databases off-campus. And basically all you need to do is use your single sign-in name that you'll use for MyCU, Blackboard, and your email. And you'll also use the same passcode. So Vanessa, if you could scroll down. So once you log in from off campus, you'll see these options. And I do apologize. I would like to have the opportunity to show you what this looks like from off campus, but we couldn't arrange that today. These are the databases that are available to us. And why don't we go ahead and go to EBSCO. Okay, EBSCO, and if you go to EBSCO Host Web, which is your first option, and then go ahead and select all here. We don't want to limit our search. Hit continue. It may slow down the search a little, but that's okay. You'll see the search page and various different options, and we'll want to limit our option to full text. Boolean phrase is fine. And we'll also want to use scholarly peer-reviewed journals. Now I want to take a minute to explain what scholarly peer-reviewed journals are. They're different than your typical magazine or newspaper in that other individuals who specialize in your area would be reviewing those articles. And if those articles do not meet merit, they wouldn't be published. So once we select these, we understand that the quality of the article will be much higher. Now, it doesn't mean that it's a perfect article, though, so that's where you'll have to understand how to differentiate between quality research, and you'll learn that in 541 or 642. So if we scroll back up, Vanessa, you'll see a search engine box. And if we type just social work, hit search, you'll see that we've received 48,519 articles. Okay, that's a lot of articles, right? So first, we might want to consider maybe limiting our search to publication date. Now, as scholars, we know that really anything in the past 6 years is best. So Vanessa, maybe if you could change 1892 to 2010. It's going to automatically update. And you'll see we're down to 17,141 there. And let's just pretend like that's okay for the sake of time. But we could modify our search at the top. But go ahead and click on the first article. Scroll down. You'll see the abstract, okay? The abstract is your quick and dirty look at what the article's about. It saves you time. So if we look and we see that we want to be studying social work in regard to the social work mission and other aspects of this proposal, and we think it's good, we could download the article. And there are various ways that we can download the article. First, we could do it from this page, but if you hit back, Vanessa, I'll show you another way to do it. And that's just to click on the PDF full text at the bottom. There we go, okay? Now, there's something important to note. If you find an article that you really want that's not in full text, our library can try to find that for you. So if you go back to our library page, Vanessa, hit Directory and Hours, you can see a list of individuals. Now typically, Seth will be your best friend as a resource librarian. Click email Seth, and of course, well, you'll probably just have to copy and paste that in if you don't have Outlook set up on your home computer. But copy and paste that in and give him the article information, and he'll search for that and email a PDF copy to you. So that's how you can access both different databases, as I showed you in the beginning, an article using EBSCOhost, and also getting an interlibrary loan through our library. Okay? So now let's talk a little bit about Blackboard. So now we're going to talk a little bit about Blackboard. Vanessa, if you put your username and ID in, first you'll notice under the address you see elearn.concord.edu. You can access it that way, or Vanessa, if you go to our home page, you can access it through quick access, okay? Now, something that you may also find helpful, you can have multiple tabs of Blackboard open at once.
Another question a lot of people ask is, do they need a separate login for Blackboard? But you don't. The same login you use for MyCU, you use for the library, use that same thing to get into your Blackboard account as well.
Absolutely, and that holds true for all of Concord's services. We utilize the single sign-in service. So your username and password should work for all of our electronic resources. You can change your password, and we will have instructions posted on how to change your password through the system. But let's go ahead and show you how to access your courses, okay? Now, first, on your open page, you can see your courses that you're assigned to in the center. Or you can also click the Courses tab in the right-hand side. Okay, Vanessa, if you could click on the grants course for summer semester. You will not have this many classes. Funded research and acquisition, good. Okay, this is what a typical course will look like, and this is actually my grants course. It's a great elective. I hope you elect to take it, as well as gerontology, right, Professor Allen?
Now keep in mind, when you go to the courses, this is the standard, but sometimes people have their tabs named different things and that sort of thing. So if you have trouble finding something in your course, be sure to contact the faculty member that's teaching that course.
Well, first, absolutely you want to contact your professor if you have any issues. But first, I always encourage my students to navigate through the entire course as soon as the semester starts.
Sure.
Professor Allen, if you could switch me places real quick. I want to go over the course content from my typical course. Here you would see, if I had posted any announcements, any of your outstanding tasks that were due. And you can see that Vanessa's been a bad student, and she has 12 assignments that are past due. But actually, don't freak out about that. Even if you submit it, it'll still show that that assignment was past due for the course. So don't worry about that much. But if you click on the Start Here page, you'll see that I've provided my students various information regarding the course. If you scroll down, you'll see that I've also introduced them to different areas of the course, and I've given my contact information. Vanessa, if you'll scroll back up. You can also click under Information, and I want you to click on this one because this is so important. Every course has a syllabus, okay? Your syllabus is your agreement with the instructor and the instructor's agreement with you in regard to the course. It is essential that you read your syllabus and understand your syllabus because it'll be used throughout the semester. A lot of your questions can be answered by reviewing the syllabus. Okay, now I put different things under information. As Professor Allen said, we all do it differently. So I do want to call attention to smart thinking. That's a free review site that the institution purchases for you to use. You are connected with scholars who can help you with basic grammar or even content. So I really, really, really recommend that you use this service. It's free. It's another set of eyes to review your paper before you turn it in. One of the largest problems I see as a professor are students who don't proofread their papers or those students who don't follow instructions. So I want to make that expectation clear with you now, that you are expected to write as a graduate student, you are expected to write as a professional, and you are expected to follow instructions.
Absolutely. And one thing to keep in mind is if you're in a class where the professor doesn't have this listed here, it's almost always underneath tools, student tools. So with any class, you can take advantage of that service. And as Professor Ingram said, please be sure to do that because you are held to a high standard as far as your writing.
Absolutely. Also, Vanessa, if you'll click under content for me now. Some professors include links to specific modules under the tool. I always include them under the content page. Now, we have a 5-week semester, so I have all 5 weeks here and the final proposal. Vanessa, if you could just click on week 1. Week 1, you'll see that I have information posted and I also have a web link. Anytime that there's just information posted, you'll see the folded paper icon. Anytime that it's a web link, you will see the globe and also the paper behind it. Now, Vanessa, if you'll go back to content and scroll all the way down to the proposal, if you click on the proposal, you'll see again there's information posted, but then you'll see the paper with the pencil and the ruler. This indicates that it's a submission portal. That's where you'll submit your assignment.
And something to remember about that is unless your professor for some reason gives you specific instructions not to, all of your assignments should be submitted through Blackboard. That's important because not only does it help us maintain your assignments, but it's also a way for you to be able to keep track of your grades as you go along. Because there's a grade book on here that shows you, where you stand in the course at that time. So submitting all of your assignments through Blackboard, unless you're otherwise instructed, is really important.
Vanessa, if you could click on that portal for me and scroll down, you'll see that instructions are given for the assignment, but you'll see an option to write the submission or browse your computer. Please don't write your submission. Take the time, use Word or a Word-like program, save it to your computer, and then upload by browsing your computer. Can you click on that? Thank you, Vanessa. And here we could select the appropriate document. If you want to X out of that. Scroll down. Once your file's attached, you would just go and select Submit. Now you'll probably get a warning notice that there's nothing, so if you hit cancel, that's fine, Vanessa. So who do you contact if you have a question about your assignments or about a grade? Of course, we want you to contact your professor. We also want you to contact us if you have any questions regarding the course content. It's really hard for us to understand what you're lost with if you never reach out to us. And as Professor Allen mentioned earlier in this orientation, we want you to know that we are a small program and we want to hear from our students. We want to get to know our students. And we're never upset when we hear from you. We always want to know if there's some way that we can present our information in a more clear fashion, or if there are any other questions.
Another thing to remember about that is Scott said we are a small program, and we've talked about through the orientation that we know you all have busy lives outside of school. So we certainly hold you to high standards in your coursework, but if you're having some type of issue, we need to know that early on. So if there's something that comes up, you think you're going to be late with an assignment, that sort of thing, you need to first of all find out go to the syllabus and find out what that course's policy is on late assignments. The other thing is you need to contact that faculty member, because we're all here to help you and work together at the end of the day.
And each faculty member has a different policy regarding late papers. I'll accept late papers with a penalty on on most cases. Some professors will not accept them at all. So in an ideal world, you wouldn't be submitting a late assignment at all.
Right, but either way, be sure if you're having an issue to contact your professor.
Absolutely. Now, Vanessa, if you'll click under discussions, I want to talk about that for a moment. I always utilize, and a lot of professors utilize, the open forum, okay? The open forum allows students to ask questions pertaining to the course, and their question may benefit other students. It's kind of like in the classroom, right? So if you have a question, and that question isn't person specific, I always encourage my students to utilize the open forum. And here you'll see I have one for the general course, and then for the final assignment. And then you'll also see, if you scroll down, Vanessa, various different discussions with assignments. Now, this class is designed for each assignment for each week to be posted through the discussion board, because it's a collaborative course. But each is different. We will not click into any of the discussions because of student confidentiality. This is an active live course.
Most of our courses do utilize discussions, because it's a great way for you all to get to talk to each other without being inside of the classroom and to get feedback. But one thing I would caution you with discussions is, for example, if this discussion number one has 2 or 3 questions you're supposed to answer, it's not enough just to give a short answer to that question. You want to actually discuss it and provide, research and different ways of, how you're formulating what your argument is, whatever the question is. Another thing to remember is most faculty who use discussions also require that you give feedback to a certain number of your colleagues in the class. So be sure you take a look at these assignments carefully and that you're meeting all the standards that are set forward.
Dr. Pendergast either has or will be speaking with you regarding the expectations for graduate work. And Professor Allen hit on a very important topic there, and that's we're expecting a much higher level form of work for you. The MSW is considered the terminal practice degree in our field. Therefore, when you graduate, it's expected that you can practice competently at all levels. So we hold you to that regard within the program and throughout the program. And I hope, as a student, that you'll hold yourself to that same regard. One more thing that I'd like to cover is email. You'll see that there's an email link here. That's because, as a professor, I forgot to disengage that. I do not like Blackboard email. That doesn't mean that every professor doesn't. I know some professors require that you use Blackboard email. So also pay attention to that syllabus, because it's going to give you specific instructions on how your professors want to reach out. I know that now I have to go back to my office and check the email account because I didn't realize that I had that activated.
And speaking of that, one other thing that's really important is be sure you check your Concord email. Like as Professor Ingram said, some faculty require that for class things that you use this messenger to contact them. Me, I use my regular email account because it's more accessible to me. But be sure you constantly are checking your Concord email, because you are a student here and you're in an online program, and lots of important information will come to that Concord account. So if you're not checking that, then you could be missing really important things, whether it be about class or also about your field placements. So be sure you check that as well. That's really important.
That's a great point, and I'm not sure if Vanessa has talked to you or plans to talk to you about this, but you can also set your Concord email to be forwarded to another email. Use your Concord email. You can forward it to another email, but make sure that you are checking that regularly.
Absolutely.
Well, I hope that I've addressed all the Blackboard questions that you may have starting out. Did I miss anything, Professor Allen?
No, I don't think so. Just again, if you have issues with Blackboard in the beginning, reach out to us as soon as possible. Also, if you have technology issues, don't forget that the IT help desk here at Concord is a great resource to you as well. And in this orientation, you'll have information on how to contact them. They're available in the day from 8 to 4. So if you have issues with Blackboard or something's not working correctly, be sure you contact them and get that squared away. And also your faculty is more than willing to help you with any of the content of the courses that you're having.
That's a great point. I forgot to bring that up. If it's a technology issue, I cannot help you. Professor Allen, he may be more adept in it than I am, but more than likely he will not be able to help you. Reach out to technology services. Reach out to the help desk.